In the year 451, one of the greatest and most significant battles throughout history would take place in the western territory of the Gallic Roman Empire, known as the Battle of the Catalonian Plains. This battle saw a combined Hunnic army led by the great Hunnic leader Attila the Hun take on a Western Roman army led by the Roman general Flavius Aetius. In spring, Attila's army was joined by many neighboring tribes, including the Ostrogoths, Gepids, Alemanni, and Franks. They had crossed the Rhine and into Gallic Rome. At this point, Flavius Aetius marched from Italy to meet them. In order to bolster his army against Attila's, Aetius was forced to enter into an alliance with his rival, the king of the Visigoths, Theodoric, and then acquire additional soldiers from the Burgundians and Saxons. By early June of 451, Attila's horse-heavy army reached Orleans, which was under the control of the Alans at the time. It is uncertain for sure what happened beyond this point. Some historians claim that Attila's army besieged the city, and as Aetius arrived, Attila abandoned the siege. Historians believe as the landscape was not favorable to cavalry is what led to Attila's army retreating from engaging with Aetius. After witnessing this retreat, the leader of the Alans, Sangiban, joined his forces with Aetius's Roman army, who then also received additional reinforcements from the Visigoths, Franks, Burgundians, and Saxons. The Roman general then moved to pursue Attila. After days of back-and-forth skirmishing, both armies finally met face-to-face on the Gallic fields of Catalonia, modern-day Chalons, France. Attila's army numbered some 50,000 men, most of which were Germanic foederati and mercenary soldiers. Attila's army was set up in the following manner. At the center was Attila himself commanding his renowned Hunnic cavalry riders, roughly 10,000 or so in strength. Stationed on Attila's left flank were the Ostrogoths led by their leader Valamir. They numbered some 15,000 to 20,000 men and were comprised of Ostrogothic cavalry at the front lines, with Germanic infantry supporting them from the rear. Stationed on Attila's right flank were the Gepids and Franks led by their leader Ardaric. They numbered some 15,000 to 20,000 men and were comprised of Gepid cavalry at the front, with Frank and Germanic infantry supporting from the sides and rear. The Western Romans had an army of equal size, comprised of many different allied tribes and federati from the surrounding regions. Flavius Aetius's Western Roman army was set up in the following manner. On the Roman left flank was Flavius himself commanding a few thousand Roman cavalry, with a mix of Roman, Saxon, Burgundian, and Frankish infantry at the forefront and archers behind them. At the Roman center were the Alans, commanded by their leader Sangiban. Their force was made up entirely of cavalry with some archers behind them. On the Roman right flank were Roman allies, the Visigoths, whom were commanded by their leader Theodoric. The Visigoths had dismounted their cavalry and formed a shield wall with their infantry at the front and had archers supporting them from behind. The battle began with Attila's Huns at the center, advancing forward, aiming to skirmish the Roman lines with volleys of arrows from their mounted Hunnic archers. Attila focused his force primarily towards the Roman center, looking to exploit the mounted Alan cavalry, who could not properly defend themselves against volleys of arrows raining from above. Attila's mounted horsemen rained arrows down upon the Roman lines. The Visigoth and Roman infantry on the flanks were able to form a shield wall and repel most of the damage. Meanwhile, the Alan cavalry were easy targets. The Roman archers are able to repel Attila's Hunnic cavalry, though the Alan center sustained heavy casualties, losing up to half their men in the Hunnic attack. Attila's horsemen reform and begin to charge at the now weakened Alan center. At the same time, the Franks, Gepids, and Ostrogoths on the flanks all advance forward in unison. With cavalry first, they come charging into the Visigoth and Roman flanks with their infantry close behind. The Hunnic allied infantry come charging in, smashing into the ranks of the Roman lines. the center, the Roman allied Alan cavalry have collapsed and begin to withdraw from the battlefield. Flavius Aetius gathers his own cavalry and charges towards the center and right at the Hunnic cavalry, attempting to stop their advancements and from ultimately enveloping and destroying his entire army. Before the battle had started, Flavius Aetius had positioned a large force of Visigoth cavalry behind a ridge hidden from the sight of the battlefield. This force was commanded by Thorismund, the son of the Visigoth king Theodoric. Upon hearing that King Theodoric had fallen in battle, and with his lines being pushed hard, Flavius Aetius gave the signal for Thorismund to advance. Thorismund and his Visigoth cavalry come charging from the right wing of the battlefield, catching Attila's army completely off guard. They come crashing into Attila's Ostrogothic left flank, running down anybody in their path, causing sheer chaos and confusion, leading to heavy casualties on Attila's left. With the successful charge of the Visigothic cavalry breaking the Ostrogothic left flank, it soon leads to the rest of Attila's army breaking away and retreating. The arrival of Thorismund's cavalry ultimately saved the day for Flavius Aetius and the Romans. It was reported by some historians that Thorismund wanted to pursue and besiege Attila's camp, thus gaining revenge for the death of his father Theodoric on the battlefield. However, Flavius Aetius persuaded him not to do so, and reminded him to quickly return to the capital of the Visigothic kingdom, Toulouse, and claim his rightful heir to the throne. Why Flavius Aetius allowed Attila and the Huns to escape was not known for certain. Many historians speculate that it was for a number of reasons, one being that the Hunnic king bribed Aetius. Another story suggests that Aetius wanted to use this victory to rebuild his relationship with the Huns, whom he could use as mercenaries to recapture the region of Gaul for himself. Another historian believes that Aetius feared that if the Huns were completely destroyed, the Visigoths would break off their allegiance to the Roman Empire and become an even graver threat. There are no reports regarding the losses suffered on both sides. All we can assume from modern accounts is that thousands were killed, with the majority escaping the battlefield alive or wounded.